Scars Above popped up on Steam for me and quickly caught my attention as I had just gotten done playing the new Dead Space remake. Since I had just finished a third-person sci-fi game, I decided to wait for later, and after enough time had passed, and with it luckily going on sale during the summer, I decided to take the plunge. Scars Above is a third-person sci-fi action game where you play as Dr. Kate Ward. You are the most recent member of the Scars team that is being sent to investigate a large alien structure dubbed the Metahedron. The Metahedron appeared suddenly in Earth's orbit and brought with it the realization that other intelligent life forms exist and have mysteriously presented themselves to the people of Earth without making contact. After a short tutorial of walking around the Hermes, the Scar team's spacecraft, the team initiates contact with the Metahedron when things go awry. The Metahedron creates a gravity well that pulls the Hermes into it, and Kate wakes up on an alien world. Examining her surroundings, it's very clear that the Hermes has crash-landed, and Kate sets out into the alien environment to try to find the rest of the Scar team. The main gameplay of Scars Above is best described as a third-person shooter, including common mechanics seen in modern third-person games, such as health and stamina meters and a dodge roll. As you find weapons, Kate can fight back with a melee attack and a weapon crafted during the tutorial called Vera, a modified laser welder that fires an electrical pulse. As you continue to explore the planet, you find monsters and local flora that allow Kate to craft different elemental attachments for Vera, highlighting that the different types of elemental damage are central in Scars Above. You also happen upon strange pillars that move and glow as you approach them. Interacting with these pillars will heal Kate, recharge resources like ammo and your limited healing syringes, and set the pillar as your most recent respawn point. Interacting with a pillar also causes all enemies in the area to respawn. And while this initially appears to hint at a Souls-like exploration of the alien world, Scars Above is at its core a linear experience. As a result, with very little circling back and small areas to explore, the pillars act largely as rest points to save your game and recharge supplies. Since there is very little backtracking, it's important to explore all of an area before moving on, and rewards for exploration exist as knowledge cubes. These cubes are generally hidden and grant experience points that generate ability points to spend in the skill tree, split into engineering and xenobiology tracks. Engineering skills generally improve equipment effectiveness, while xenobiology increases survivability and resources gained from the environment. There's also a crafting element in Scars Above that's utilized with a futuristic 3D printer that uses fiber found in the environment as a resource. Crafting is first introduced at specific stations, when Kate is first creating Vera and building the first elemental add-on, but the crafting system actually exists as a wheel of consumable items that can be crafted on the fly as needed. You're able to craft additional healing syringes, a cleanse for negative effects, or additional ammunition as long as you have enough fiber. There are impressive enemy designs in Scars Above that really sell the story of being lost in a hostile alien environment. Adding a bit of a horror element, enemies will often ambush and surprise you rather than just be out in the open. Enemies also generally have weak points that can be leveraged to gain the upper hand, with some larger enemies having color-coded spots that inform the player which type of elemental damage should be used. As the game continues, new and unique enemy types are introduced as you reach new areas, but there is still a level of enemy repetition. Outside of these new enemy types, there's still a fair number of reskinned enemies with different elemental vulnerabilities. Scars Above also has a number of boss fights that are visually distinct and impressive, but I found they ended quickly once you identified how to expose the boss's weak point. As a result, the boss fights, while certainly welcome and exciting, never felt particularly lethal or harrowing. There are lots of interesting ideas in Scars Above, but unfortunately they suffer from implementations that leave systems in the game at odds with one another. Some examples of this are having a limited number of healing items, but being able to freely craft an equally effective healing item using fiber, or having a cap on fiber and ammunition, but also finding large amounts of both resources in the environment. There were many times I would have to pass up fiber and ammo because I was already full. How exploration is handled was also a big factor in this feeling of conflicting implementations. Because the progression of earning experience points is tied to finding knowledge cubes, it created a disconnected feeling between exploration and combat that made combat feel like a secondary mechanic rather than the primary gameplay. And while the team behind Scars Above definitely did a great job of making the relatively small set pieces feel much bigger than they are, it also results in a large amount of time walking around similar-looking paths. I could feel throughout my playthrough that Scars Above wanted to be taken seriously, and it does have some great attributes. The soundtrack, enemy and boss design, and voice acting are all excellent, but unfortunately the game itself doesn't do a great job of building a solid foundation to elevate these other aspects. The combat can feel clunky at times, with awkward animations and strange attack hitboxes, and Scars Above also doesn't do the best job of allowing the player to exercise knowledge gained. In some cases, teaching something and immediately changing the situation so that the new information is no longer as effective. Kate also suffers from video game protagonist brain. While it is established in the tutorial that Kate is very smart, her ability to immediately discern what happened in a situation occasionally made it difficult to suspend disbelief. In fact, it often took away from the mysterious atmosphere that Scars Above appears to try and create. Scars Above, despite its good attributes, is ultimately a very middle-of-the-road title. It oscillates between dull at its worst and good enough at its best. It's not a terrible game, but it doesn't do enough to stand out on its own and make it worth recommending over other similar titles, in my opinion. If you are really interested in Scars Above, I would recommend picking it up on sale if you can. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep having fun.